This is video 5 of 9 in my series of videos entitled Jacksboro to Scopes Monkey Trial City, Dayton, Tennessee. As we continue to Harriman, when we get to Harriman, we'll get on Highway 27, and that highway will take us all the way to Dayton, Tennessee. I started this video in Jacksboro at about 9:30 in the morning. For a while we were going into the sun, but now the sun is started to go more or less to the rear of our direction. This is the highway from Oliver Springs to Harriman. We're on our way to Dayton, Tennessee, where they had the famous Scopes monkey trial. Most of the people in this area or anywhere else has heard about that. Video 9 of 9, 8 and 9 really, and 9 of 9, will terminate there at Dayton, Tennessee. I have the GoPro on some suction cups on the front windshield of my automobile. And when I get into Dayton, I'll drive around the courthouse and I'll give you as many views as I possibly can. The only disadvantage of using a GoPro, and I've mentioned this before, is the fisheye effect that you get, especially when you're using it on super wide, and that's what I'm doing today. Putting it on super wide gives you a larger field of vision, but to the right and left, and I've mentioned this on practically every one of my videos, the fisheye starts to distort the view, but it really doesn't rob from what you're seeing. The perspective is a little off, and you can tell it. I had someone that made a comment on one of my road videos, and they said, "Man, you're going down the road fast, aren't you?" It's only an optical illusion. It just looks that way. At one time, I went a lot slower than I'm going now. But when you get out on a highway like this and you're poking along, people who come up behind you want to get around you. So I decided that I would try to stay in and around the speed limit. But it's only an optical illusion that it looks like it's going fast. If you want to see how slow it is really, look off in the distance, like this telephone pole coming up here. See how long it takes me to get to the next one? We're getting ready to get on Highway 27, which will take us all the way to Dayton. I don't know what they were doing on the entrance ramp, but they had it closed, Of course, we wouldn't have gotten on this anyway, because if we were going up into Kentucky, we would. But when we go under the bridge, see, they have that completely blocked off for some reason. When we go under the bridge, we'll merge into Highway 27. I don't know if we're in the city limits of Harriman at this point, but you can see the signs as they come up. We're near the city limits of Harriman, so I'm going to say we're in Harriman. Our next, I don't know what that sign said there. I didn't notice it. You can stop these videos at any time, and you should be able to read road signs. Now, a lot of this stuff I'm reiterating what I've said before, but I'm recording it at 60 frames per second, which gives you the ability to stop the video and probably read any of these road signs or street signs or any sign on the side of the road. It was a cloudless day today. On the way back, of course I didn't video coming back, but coming back, that, I started to say ridge line, it's a mountain. Would that be Roan Mountain? Probably. But coming back over across the mountain, it looked like that the clouds were building up. And some areas received some thunderstorm activity, but it was scattered. It's been a long time since we've had this kind of weather, dry weather. I saw a friend of mine yesterday, and when I saw him, I said, global warming, global warming. And I'm sure that your yard is like mine if you live in East Tennessee. It's turned completely brown. So who knows? When you have over 90-degree weather in October, I think we set a record. I don't really follow those things. I'm just thinking about, I think my wife Pat said that she heard that there was a record set in temperature. As we continue into Harriman, when I get in downtown Harriman, there was a couple of fire trucks came by, looked like they were either had been on a call and were coming back into the fire station. But I told Pat, when I upload this video to YouTube, I'm going to send those guys an email message and tell them that I think I captured them on video in Harriman. And like I say, I don't know if they'd been on a call, but it looked like they were coming back from a call, but I'm not positive on that. But anyway, we really respect our first responders. I always say God bless those that serve both in and out of uniform, because we have a lot of law enforcement people serving out of uniform, and I like to include them with the uniform people. So I'm going to try to get their email address there at the fire station in Harriman, and send them the link to this video. I'm trying to remember. They came from a side street, I think. Maybe I was busy jabbering and they had already started down this road. I'm not sure. But anyway, I can't remember completely where they came out on the road. As we went by, I could see them, one of the units, backing into the building. This is Highway 27 going through Harriman. We'll go under Interstate 40. There comes one of the units. And then there's another one behind that one. You probably saw them pulling out from wherever they had been. So I hope I can get an email to those guys until they can at least see themselves coming back from wherever they'd been. The GoPro really gives you a quality high definition view if you don't mind the fisheye lens bending everything to the right and the left. But that's the trade-off for an electronic camera, and the GoPro is 100% electronic. I believe you can see one of the guys backing into the station behind that building when we pull out from the traffic light. You can tell this is a Sunday because there's not much traffic. Yeah, there you can see the guy backing into the building over there. As we continue on Highway 27 on our way to Dayton, Tennessee, home of the Scopes Monkey Trial, a famous trial about evolution, and that debate continues today. If you want to know where I stand, I'm going to tell you, I'm a creationist. Totally 100% creationist. I think, well, the fossil record will go against evolution. There's a good video on YouTube that I watched. I can't remember. It was a group of guys that got together, and they were using their scientific knowledge to debunk the evolutional theory, Darwin's theory of evolution. But I don't need to be debunked. I'm a creationist, and that's what I believe. I believe that from my front bumper to my rear bumper of my automobile. I believe I'm in good company because most of the people believe the way I believe. Not everybody, but I would say most of the people do. As we continue on Highway 27, when I was working for the Air Force down at Tullahoma, I used to drive this every weekend. I would come home on the weekends and then I would go back. And I would drive and I would go across the mountain into Crossville and go down that way. And years ago, I'm talking about in the 50s, in Rockwood, some of you may remember, if you're old enough, in Rockwood, on the other side of Rockwood, there was a restaurant on the left-hand side, and we would always stop there because they had fantastic food. I don't remember what the name of that place was. It was one of those locally owned restaurants. And when this was the main highway, before the interstate was completed, just about everybody that came, because you didn't have all this, you didn't have this fast food, but just about everybody that came down through here and went through Rockwood would stop at that restaurant. Well, this video, 5 of 9, is getting ready to end. The next video will be 6 of 9. I don't know how long it's going to take to get these recorded. It's kind of time consuming when you do a continuous video that runs for a couple, 3 hours. So thank you very much for watching. We'll see you on, well, I've even lost track, 6 of 9, I guess. This is 5 of 9.